All right, I'm here in Beverly Hills at the Big and Tall Men's shop. No, actually we're at Heritage Auctions, and we're here looking at a Hellboy duster for the big Guillermo del Toro Bleak House auction, September 26, 2025. Go to ha.com, download the catalog, check everything out. I'm here with Joe Maddalena. This is stuff from Guillermo del Toro's personal collection. This is one of the Ron Perlman hero Hellboy dusters from the first Hellboy movie.
And Guillermo literally took this off his shoulders. I mean, this is like if you want something that came literally cut, he took it off and he took it home. So we're in the house.
Right into a suitcase.
Yes, right in the suitcase. But we're in the house one day, and it's really funny because we're talking about now we're building the Hellboy part of the auction, which is extremely painful.
But by the way, stick with us because we're going to show you some amazing Hellboy. Not just props, but artwork and just like the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making both films.
Maquettes and models, but it's interesting. So each one of these vignettes in this auction, this was a very difficult one. So it was funny because he put it on, and for like an hour he walked around with it on. All right, so it was amazing. Like so, he's sitting in the chair and we're arguing about like what we should have in the auction because I'm like, I want that. No, you can't have that. It's like, and then. I think we finally agreed on Big Baby. That's it, no more. And he's wearing the jacket. And finally at the end he goes, take the jacket. But it was amazing. But like every single one of these has a story. This is a hero. I don't know what else has been out in the past. I don't know what those are, but this is the real thing.
And just to talk about this a minute, the raincoat has existed, or whatever you want to call it, the trench coat, let's say trench coat, has existed. Hellboy's been wearing it in the comics, since the character was created by Mike Mignola. But it's one thing to draw it into the comics, and then it's another thing to kind of go, well, what is it going to really be? And they just really went for it. It's just kind of a classic sort of like trench coat, duster, so there's an element of a cowboy, but and it's just this gorgeous material, kind of like a waterproof, kind of almost like slicker material also as well. I just love the leather details here, all the belts, the wooden buttons, just this part of it all. It's just
the leather patches
beautiful.
On the side.
Yeah, come around. Yeah, look at this.
This is amazing. So the leather patches are just fantastic.
Just look at that, the full BPRD logo, just gorgeous. This is probably from earlier in the film because it's sort of still looking pretty good. They get pretty beat up as it goes, but
and there would have been
fabulous.
Stunt ones. The hero.
There'd be stunt and then ones that were kind of
But this was the hero. Like if you want the hero, this was it.
Yeah, just truly just gorgeous. To the touch. I got to visit the set, and I got to see him wearing this once. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
It could be yours now.
Yes, I know. I've thought about one of these for so long.
Halloween's
it's crazy.
Coming.
I know, and it fits. It would actually finally. If it fit Guillermo, I think it could fit.
You could get those 6-inch, boots, the boots that make the rock stars taller. You'd be all sort of
around,
right?
knock, knock, hello, trick or treat. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good.
Get the Big Baby, and you're all set.
Right, and if I didn't want to wear this, there's something even better to wear. So this is Rasputin's robe. Yes, robe. And one of the things I love about this is, again, we see the robe in Hellboy Seeds of Destruction, and then now it comes to life. Guillermo brings it to life in the movie. And there's no other way of saying this, but I mean, look at the stitching. Look at the stitching.
All by hand.
Yeah, all by hand. This is, I think, one of the reasons you go to Prague to shoot a movie like Hellboy. Is you get crazy bang for your buck in terms of construction. You can build bigger, you can build more. They have the artisan kind of quality, and you get this sort of handmade stuff as well. Just really beautiful. Come around to the front because it's so damn good looking. Just look at this thing, this sort of tree of life. I don't know if this is supposed to be the Norse Yisrael with a Y, I don't know how you pronounce that, but just beautiful.
The fabric.
And the fabric, you have that, and then in the fabric itself, you sort of have the same sort of vine-like, I don't know, tree stuff just into the fabric.
And Guillermo wouldn't just outsource this. Guillermo would have been involved in every aspect of the cut, the creation, the fabric, the detail. This is what makes him Guillermo del Toro. This is what, when you get into these details, it's so amazing.
Yeah, striking in person equally striking on camera in the film,
And
which is
true
amazing.
to the comic books.
And very true to the comic, and yet brought to life in a like it makes sense. It's a little different, so it works, but it's just incredible. All right, so you're Guillermo del Toro. You're making a Hellboy movie. Who do you, as both a film fanatic, a collector, and now the director, who do you want to do the poster for your movie? Drew Struzan. You have not one, not two, but you actually have three Drew Struzan sort of full color concept pieces. Finished full on. Any one of these could have been the poster.
Absolutely.
The studio, of course, because they're the studio, wanted a photograph, and that's what studios do. But maybe they're not using it is how they get to now be in this auction today. This is my favorite of the three, just because I love the statue from the film, which is also a very Mignola sort of statue. So it's Mignola being interpreted by Guillermo and then being interpreted by Drew Struzan in this piece of art, plus obviously just a gorgeous Hellboy with the Samaritan. This is the other one, second of three. Here you get the full cast. Everybody, you get Selma Blair using her powers, Professor Broom. I mean, the full works, kind of more of a noir kind of a thing. I almost love the way he's kind of got Hellboy posing with the gun, almost like a beat cop kind of a thing. Just really amazing. And then, because, again, it's not just props, it's not just artwork, it's a little bit of everything. There's all of this pre-production artwork that's just incredible. And this is one of my absolute favorite pieces. This is an actual pre-production art for the Samaritan gun. So again, the big giant gun that Hellboy uses, it's in the comics, but it's one thing to draw in a comic, and now how do you turn this into a gun that works, that we can build for the movie and whatnot? And this looks pretty damn final. I mean, they've got they're getting down to the leather detail there on the handle. This looks pretty darn good.
Blueprint stage. This is ready
They're
to go.
ready to make this thing.
Absolutely.
So really incredible. And then beyond this, my other favorite part of this is Mike Mignola himself, the creator of Hellboy, the writer, artist of the Hellboy comics, worked with Guillermo on the movie and did pre-production artwork. And so some of the pre-production artwork that Mignola did for the film looks really right out of his comics. And I love that. I want to show you a couple pieces of that. So this is one of Mignola's pieces. This is sort of the tomb in Hellboy Jr.'s room in front of the Hell Wall. I love that it's Mike's work, but it's at the same time he's kind of bringing it into sort of how are we going to do a three-dimensional version of this for the film?
How do you take my 2D book, make it 3D?
Yes.
And again, when we got into Hellboy is a huge part of Guillermo's life,
yes.
right? Because Hellboy was meant to be a trilogy. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Right.
So he never got to make part 3, but it was in his mind part 3. That never happened. But when we get in, again, this was another area where him and I would have long discussions about
how... You can say it, wrestling matches.
Yes.
Full-on wrestling matches.
Because we're both like, I'm trying to get things in the auction, he's trying to maintain an archive, but we're also trying to tell a story, right? And we're both like, how do we do this and make sure there's something? So you see the ones that we picked out represent everything. There's nothing missing. And that's one of the things we wanted to tell people. We tried to give you some of everything. And there are not many of these.
Right.
He didn't do hundreds.
There's only a couple of them that are in this. He didn't do a lot to begin with, but the ones he did, what's really wonderful is you picked really wonderful moments that are very Mignola. So you picked moments where, I'm guessing this is why Guillermo chose him to kind of work on these sections, is they are particularly about bringing things that are very much part of the comic, the real DNA of the comic, to life. So we'll show you a couple more.
Fabulous. Look at the faces.
Yes. Again, the faces, the structure, again, it feels from the comic, and yet they are bringing it to the movie screen. I love these things. These are all dated 2002, July 2002. What does this one say? Hellboy Church Runes, study number 9. That's gorgeous. This is probably my absolute favorite piece.
That's fantastic.
You remember Baby Hellboy in the film. This is sort of a realization of Baby Hellboy. Reminds me of some of my favorite stuff that Mignola did with young and Baby Hellboy, with the giant hand.
White out in the eyes.
Yep,
Yeah.
just
Fantastic.
perfect. This one, also gorgeous.
The altar.
Yep, the
and
altar.
ruins. And we tried to have different versions of the altar before it was
Right.
destroyed. I mean, again, and to scale, human.
Yep.
So Guillermo could then plan to shoot this.
One of the things Mike Mignola also worked a little bit on, or I should say more than a little bit, had worked on the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula movie. So it had some experience. He sort of, I think, did the comic book after the fact, but did production stuff with them, whatever. And I think that experience sort of certainly moved him into this world, which is how do you take a very specific, unique art style and bring it to life? And I know I keep sort of harping on that, but
It's
I do
hard.
think it's important.
You can be
and
very,
it's very hard.
It can go
Yes.
very bad, very fast.
Yes. This is probably my favorite one. Just the level of
look at
detail
this.
on this. Yeah, with the key and whatnot. Very Prague. He did a series of sketches. Actually, Mike did a series of sketches for himself when he was in Prague working on Hellboy. And you see a lot of these kinds of very ornate statues, like holding things or with halos and whatnot. And I just thought this piece in particular for the catacombs was just particularly nice. Just really fantastic. And Mike not only did this stuff, but he actually worked on some of the props for the movie itself. We're going to show you Rasputin's, I guess, diary thing, which is just wild.
And also, for one more second
Yes,
on these,
please.
they're affordable.
Yeah.
You know,
The starting bids are beyond reasonable, certainly more reasonable than a piece of Hellboy art these days.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm saying is that
Yeah.
the other thing is you could get something for a few $1,000s, and that was one of the goals when Guillermo and I put this auction together. Is
For everybody.
we wanted to make it accessible. We wanted everybody to get a chance to get something, because if you can't afford that $25,000 cover or the splash or something, here's an opportunity to get something that is truly unique. These are all one of one, and they don't exist outside of this room and his house.
I would literally, by the way, buy a book of like
They're
the
amazing.
pre-production.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, of
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
Yes.
I want to show you this Rasputin book. This is pretty incredible. So when it came to this Rasputin sort of notebook, which, by the way, is very funny if you've been watching our other videos, you know that Guillermo himself has a notebook. So the idea that Guillermo has a notebook and now Rasputin has a notebook.
I think if you watch all of Guillermo's movies,
There's a lot of
notebooks. And
Yeah,
I think
lots
it's
of
a
notebooks,
theme.
yes.
And whenever you see art in the movies, Guillermo probably did it.
Right.
You know, if it didn't come from Mignola,
Right.
Guillermo probably made it. This is Mignola.
Well, what I love about this is he actually had Mignola do the basically create the interior pages of this diary. Did all of these sort of runes and spell work and whatever, and Lord knows whatever language this is.
amazing, yeah.
So what I love about this is, certainly for someone like myself, this is the perfect sort of overlap of this is comic art and movie prop all in one in a really kind of amazing way.
By the guy who created the character.
Exactly,
Right,
by
yeah.
Mike Mignola. But just really wonderful just to see these and just to this level of detail. There's a page that screen matches as well, that like where there's a close up of the film and the book is open. Just really just gorgeous to see. That's Hellboy 1, and there's even more from Hellboy 2, The Golden Army.